Counselor Donahue? Here. Counselor Ah?
Here.
Counselor Hooper? Here. Counselor Fowle? Here. And Mayor Wall?
Here. And we're here this evening to interview candidates for our judge pro tem. And we have three candidates that we're going to interview, and our first one is Jesse London.
Where should I go?
Well, up there,
Did we create a hot seat, Mr. Mayor?
huh? Yeah, that's so hot seat.
Long as I don't have to sit in the corner facing. Thank you, I'll take that hot seat. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Jesse London.
Welcome, Jesse. So we have a few prepared questions.
I might scoot a little closer,
I
just
don't know if it's an advantage going first or not, but I'll ask the questions, and then if there are any follow-up questions, council may ask you as well. We're gonna start by a real difficult one. Why are you interested in being our pro tem judge?
well, I am a pro tem judge in two other cities. I've been doing that for about 10 years or so in the different cities. Main part of my practice is private practice, but I've been very committed since I started law to do some sort of public service. And both as a municipal prosecutor, which I've been for most of the time that I've been an attorney in private practice, I've also been a municipal prosecutor. And so between the being on the bench and also as a prosecutor, that's been the bulk of what I do is as a public service, community service aspect of my profession. I think every lawyer should do that. And so this is the way that I do it. I also, of course, just naturally have gravitated towards being on the bench. You may see my resume. I clerked for 2 federal judges after I graduated Cornell Law in 2011. And instantly kind of got the bug, I guess is what you might call it, to be on the bench. It's a very interesting job to be an attorney in general in terms of private practice, but mostly you're advocating for people. You're taking a particular position, which, you may very much agree with or not, but essentially you're arguing a certain position. You're not necessarily trying to get it right. And you're in terms of what the law right, or to get the most just outcome, or to, do any other thing like that. Well, the judge's role, of course, is the thing that I love doing the most, because it's the part of my role where I can actually get it right, both in terms of getting the law right, thinking about fairness to the parties, maintaining like ethical standards and building community standards or preserving community standards. And so I've had a lot of success as a pro tem judge in other places. And, I was excited to see, you were asking about having another pro tem judge, and I right away thought, okay, yeah, this is great. Another opportunity to do this thing that I really love and enjoy doing.
Thank you. Briefly describe your judicial philosophy and approach to managing cases while filling in for our regular judge.
Broadly, my judicial philosophy focuses on common sense, broadly. And I'll speak about particular role for pro tem judges. I'm from a very small town in North Carolina called Clayton, North Carolina, where we had just a few thousand people, and the focus of everything there was probably, football on Friday nights. It's a small community. We had 2 police units at the most in that town, and there's a certain way of approach that you learn growing up in that. I've been in Oregon now for more than 20 years, but you still keep that approach. You got cotton, peanuts, and tobacco. It's kind of a rural community where everyone knows everybody. The church on every corner. So, so that's broadly shapes my judicial philosophy is applying common sense. And that means that you're also doing that with respect for the party. So that's really important. You have to understand who the participants are, and that's law enforcement. The attorneys, but principally the parties before you. Those people that are before you are citizens of the community. And you have to understand what the community standards are. And you're gonna apply them, not what you want, how you would make the world if it was just you. You're trying to understand what the community expects and deserves. And to make sure that each person that's in front of you, it goes away feeling like that's what's happened for them. Yes, sir, no, sir, they've been treated with respect. They've been given the time to speak when they need to speak. And any penalties or whatever that has been imposed meet what everybody expects it to be. So that's my judicial philosophy, is try to understand it, what it is, and give the people in the community that thing. Now that's a judicial philosophy. I think it means you have to get the law right? You have to study the law and research and know what the best practices are and bring those best practices. I'm on the board of the Oregon Judges Association, used to be called the Oregon Municipal Judges Association. I participated in that for a long time as a pro tem judge. And that's where we discuss these matters of the practical application. We share things with each other. This is what I tried, and this is what worked, and this is what didn't work. What are you doing in your community? Okay, so how should we approach that? Oh, there's this new case. How can we keep the city out of trouble by not doing this thing, right? So you do have to be current and understand the technical aspects, but broadly, you're implying this kind of common sense and respect. Now, particularly with a pro tem judge, and I've done that quite a bit, you're not just kind of starting from your own space and doing whatever you want. You are coming into a court where the other judge has kind of set the parameters and you have the court staff, most importantly, who are doing the job all the time, right? So you have to, your principal thing that you're doing is learning from the court staff what their procedures are and working with them. So that's what you're doing. So as a pro tem, you're coming in, you're trying to figure out what is already there and basically apply it in pretty much the same way. Of course, you have to do what you think is right in certain situations, but they're very few and far between. So you're essentially mirroring as a pro tem.
Thank you. Okay. Do you expect to continue cases that come before you? And if so, how would you assure that they are seamlessly handled with our full-time judge?
Could you say just the first part of that sentence again?
Do you expect to continue any cases that come before you? And if so, how would you make sure that those cases are seamlessly handled between you and our judge?
Okay, by continue, you mean, for example, something that may have been set for trial and there's some things that are going on in the middle type of thing? Is that right? Okay, all right, good, yeah. So obviously you have to start with the background, right, of what happened in the case. So you have to read the parts that the judge is allowed to read in the file, which is just the case history. And you can look at prior hearings. And so as a pro tem, because I've done it for 2 other places, I'm faced with this. So yeah, you're gonna go into the file, you're gonna take a look and see what's there. And the truth of the matter is, whoever the clerk is, you're gonna, ask the clerk in chambers, you're gonna say, what has happened in this file? Where did the judge going with this? What was the thinking here? And the clerks often know the history of this. If it's a repeat person or if it's something like that, they often know the whole history. So as a practical matter, you're gonna work with the court staff to look at the file, ask what they know, and try to keep it moving in that same direction. You have to think about scheduling also, for example, right? You don't wanna, because you're in control of the schedule as a pro tem, if you're coming in continuing in the middle, you have to see what they were thinking about doing. Like, when's the next court date? Is it does a judge want it set, way out or way in? So basically, that's the process. To ensure it's smooth, you're looking at the file, really relying on the court staff and anything else that you can find to make sure that you're not kind of going in a crazy direction from where the judge was gone.
This one's kind of related. So our judge often continues cases to the next court session. What steps would you take to ensure that those cases are duly processed?
So you're saying, if to avoid the pro tem, my understanding of that question is to avoid the pro tem coming in on a continued case and simply just continuing it to the next date? Is that the idea?
Well, the first
Please.
question was, do you typically continue cases or do you try to handle them there so that the regular judge isn't picking up? And then the second part you answered with the first question, what do you do if a case is continued into your session?
Oh, okay, that's very helpful. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Yeah, I deal with the docket in front of me. I don't just continue a case because it's in front of me. I've been doing it long enough that I feel very confident that whatever needs to be done on the day, I can do it. I don't need to kick it to the next date to be handled by the judge, unless it's very clearly something that the court staff, the clerk tells me, yeah, this is something that, the judge would probably want to handle on their own. They have like a very specific thing in mind for this particular case. Otherwise, as far as criminal matters, I've been a prosecutor forever. I've been a pro tem for a long time. Whatever it is that I need to do with the thing in front of me, I can get it done. And that's what I do when I'm on the bench. I try to process through whatever, we got traffic now. I'm mostly in courts one court that doesn't have criminal matters and one that does. So one in violations and one has criminal matters and previously had a jail. So, whatever comes in front of me, whether it's, trial, I can do a trial, no problem, traffic docket, whatever. I would just try to handle it because my job is not to just push it off to the next date. My job is to actually, do the work and hear.
Thank you. Counsel, any follow-ups at all?
I only have one because I didn't see it in the verbiage here, but what is your fee?
Typically, what I said in my letter, typically what I've always done is typically the municipal judge has actually been paid for the date. And then the municipal judge has typically paid me. So it's been that relationship is the one that I'm in the two other jurisdictions. So I just get paid whatever they get paid. So, I would not obviously ask for anything different or more than what they got paid in any way, so.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Jesse.
Okay, that all you need from me?
That's it for now.
Should I hang out or get going?
You can, it's up to you.
Okay, I'll just hang out.
Our next is Lucy Eel, is it Isle?
I'll answer to Heal, Heil, or any version thereof. It's technically Heil, but I'm called Heal and other things as well. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be here. And I'm all of a sudden really nervous. Should I sit? Okay.
Okay. We're gonna ask you the same question, so. Why are you interested in being the pro tem judge here?
I am a member currently of the Oregon Judges Association. I received the recruitment notice from Juliet Britton, the president. And quite frankly, we receive a lot of emails and notices, and I have not responded to others, but this spoke to me in a different way. I think it goes back to why I became a lawyer to begin with. My mom grew up in a small town, Weston, Missouri, and that's where I was married. That's where I used to watch trials before I went to law school. My uncle was kind of my mentor. He died last year, but he was a prosecutor and then he was a circuit court judge. This feels like that kind of community to me, and I was also interested because I used to travel through here when I was going to Silverton. I'm a knitter, and so I would go to the knitting store in Silverton, and I'd gone through Mount Angel many times. I work in one of the municipalities where I work with one of the law enforcement officers who previously worked for Mount Angel, and so I have a very positive view of Mount Angel and a good feel about it. It just felt right. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo or foo-foo, but it felt right. I don't pretend to know everything that I'm doing at all, but I've been doing municipal judge job regularly for the last 3+ years now in Molalla. And I feel like there's similarities with our communities, not that they're the same, but I hope if I am considered for this, that my experience there and the time and care would cross over, would translate into being able to help folks in the community here. I'm deeply caring, empathetic. I've mostly worked as a prosecutor back way back when I was younger and starting out. They threw me into prosecuting child sex abuse cases, and that kind of ripped my heart out and got to me. So now, later, if you will, in my career, I feel like I have more of the ability, this is a long answer, more of the ability to focus on what I care about and to apply the experience I've gained throughout the years from prosecution and criminal defense, and hopefully marry those, if you will, into being able to be the best judge I can. And I have a little more confidence now that I've not a lot, I'm not overly confident, but more confidence in my ability to do the job, hopefully, and do it well. And so for all of those reasons, I was interested in applying. I've done some pro tem work a little bit in addition to my regular municipal judge responsibilities, and thought that I could potentially be of help and maybe a good fit for this community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so please briefly describe your judicial philosophy and approach to managing cases while filling in.
Yes. My philosophy is, more than anything, to try and be fair and honest. And when I'm at my best, I'm an excellent communicator and listener. So I feel like, based on the experience I've had and trials and cases and being in a lot of different courtrooms for more than 20 years, what stands out the most to me is that people want to be heard, right? Whether we're defendants or victims, whether we're witnesses, most of us want to be heard. And I know that to be a strength of mine. I am an excellent listener. And so my philosophy is to try and listen to people, and whether it's a traffic matter or a code enforcement matter, whatever it is, people deserve to be heard. And so my philosophy is to be fair and thorough and an effective communicator, and hopefully an amazing listener if I'm at my best, and try to listen to all sides and make the best decision based on the most information I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, do you expect to continue cases that come before you? And if so, how would you make sure those cases are handed from you to our regular judge?
I like to get things done, so I don't view the role of pro tem judge as one where it's just setting cases over to dump them, if you will, back in the hands or lap of the regular judge. So the way I would go about that is to effectively communicate with the judge, right? If I was asked to, if I was chosen as pro tem, of course, and then asked to fill that role for a certain month, then what I've done in the past and what I would expect to do is communicate with the judge about what cases are on the docket, what those look like. Basically have that conversation and be prepared to the extent I'm able to be prepared. And if I've done everything I can to be prepared and communicated effectively, I don't see, or at least in my experience, there hasn't been a great need to set over cases unless there's something out of the ordinary or quite frankly beyond my control. But I don't view the role of pro tem to just be a set over person. Because I don't think that's getting stuff done. If it makes sense for some reason, as I said, to set it over, then I would be open to listening to that. But in general, no, I would not expect us to continue cases over. Did I answer the second part of that question, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the follow-up is close. Our judge does continue cases to the next session. What steps would you take to ensure that those cases are processed properly?
I think it goes back to preparation. I would know what I was going into. So it's been my experience that preparation, right, looking at what's coming up allows me to be ready to hopefully resolve it, or at least to research the law, the applicable laws, statutes, et cetera. So I'm not getting to court, realizing there's something I need to research and then needing to continue it because I haven't looked ahead. So if I've done my homework, I will be ready to resolve it and prepared to resolve it if that's where we are, if that's what the parties, if that's what it lends itself to, in the interest of efficiency. Yes, I like to be thorough, but I also like to be efficient. Yes, so there's a balance there.
Thank you. Council, any follow-up? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next is. Patrick.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
How do we pronounce your last name?
Mercurio, like the Shakespearean character.
I thought I would have got close, so,
Yeah, I think you did.
okay, so anyway, we're gonna do the same 4 questions with you, Patrick, and start out, why are you interested in this pro tem position?
Well, why I like to be a judge is that because you wake up in the morning and your job is to do the right thing and be somebody who does a service for the community. And that's why I continue to be a judge. It is my vocation. It is my craft. I currently am still an administrative law judge for the city of New York. Had that job for 18 years and I do it remotely a few days a week, earlier in the week. I'm also pro tem in Kaiser and Jervis. I just had a long trial in Jervis last month, six-hour trial. Yeah. That is why I like being a judge, is because I get to apply the law. It's cerebral there, but you're also servicing the people and the community. And I think that that's the job of a judge as a public servant.
Thank you. Briefly describe your judicial philosophy and approach to managing cases while filling in.
That's 2 questions. So let me answer the first one. The judicial philosophy is to try to do the right thing, try to do justice within the confines of the law. And sometimes you have to get a little ingenuity in there, or stretch things one way or the other for a good result. For both the person who's appearing before you, whether it's diversion or somebody who just won't get a license, or it's for somebody who just got snagged in a registration or an insurance and they're really struggling. So my philosophy is to try to do the right thing by both the community and the person who's appearing before me. And you're confined by the law. You can't do anything you want, but you can get smart about it. And the second question was managing my caseload. Well, that's, you do the work until it's done. However many cases are there. Try not to spend too much time on one particular case, but if somebody wants to talk, like my job with the city, New York City, I let people go off. I let them say the same thing 3 times. When it gets to the 3rd time and it's a complaint, whether it's sanitation or the fire department or NYPD, I let them sound off. That's what I'm there for. I'm gonna end up making the decision, maybe they don't like, finding them in violation, but I'll give them their day report. And oftentimes, it is the only time these people will have any connection to the justice system. I mean, these aren't hardened criminals. Probably everybody that appears at Mount Angel Court, 90% of them, this is their only connection to the justice system. And so you got to understand that and treat them with kindness.
Thank you. Okay. And do you expect to continue cases that come before you?
Yeah, so I've heard that question with the others. Continue is a legal, it's a legal phrase. It usually means a trial has begun. And now you're in the middle of the trial and you can't finish it that evening. So you continue it. That's a legal term of art. But I think you also mean set over cases. Would that be correct? Adjourn them or set over the arraignment to another day. Is that correct?
Yeah, so typically, she'll give a client a chance to
Mm-hmm.
give them more time to get their paperwork or try to go get their license. She continued.
Yeah, I know what Judge Kugelis does. Yeah, those are called set over. So let me answer that in 2 parts. I don't continue trials. We're gonna get it done, even if it's midnight. I've done it before. I've done it as a prosecutor. I was also a federal prosecutor in DC for the United States Department of Justice, also a federal law clerk. You get the work done that day. They don't want to come back in the middle of a trial. If I had to, I can't imagine that would happen, but I would just come back on the next day and finish up the trial. Whatever is good for everybody else, I will come back and finish it. As far as set overs, I'm not afraid to set cases over if the right result will happen. If I had a case in Kaiser just the other day, 2 kids on mini bikes. That's a big problem now, these young people, 15 and 16. So I did something a little unique, which the presiding judge kind of furrowed his brow a little bit. I made them take the motorcycle class, the one you have to get your license, because I don't think they're gonna stop riding. I want this 15-year-old and the 16-year-old to learn how to ride. One of the mothers wasn't very happy about my ingenious little plan, but they both did it. One needed additional time to write the essay, a 500-word essay. Case had to be, God, it's over a year old now. But the right result will happen in the end. And they could have just paid the fine. The parents would have paid it. I made it seem that the fine was going to be just in some intractable number because there's a maximum there. I never would have imposed that. But I wanted to put the fear of God in them. You're going to do this. You're going to finish the class. You're going to write that essay. And maybe you'll learn how to ride a motorcycle. And you won't kill yourself or someone else. So some cases have to be set over. I've had former incarcerated folks come in and they're trying. If you pay $10, you show me you're trying, I'll set it over again. They don't know that when I get to a certain point, I'm just gonna lop the fine in half. Or maybe take the rest off. You're done, you did your job, you tried. It's the people who don't show up or people who flout the law. They're the ones that are very difficult to deal with. And I'll just give them a high fine and go away. You're not gonna change. But you can get some compliance from people and you can treat them with kindness. I think that's the role of a municipal judge. And I'm not from a small town. I'm from a big city, the Bronx in New York. But I think some of those ideas that I have here would work in smaller municipalities.
Thank you. You're not a Yankee fan, are you?
We can discuss sports after,
Just said,
at one of the bars over here.
he said, I didn't wear my Red Sox hat tonight, but anyway. Okay, so our judge will continue cases to the next session. What steps would you take to see that those are processed?
Right, so I know Judge Kukulis very well. She is the one who suggested that I apply for this. And I've done her cases in Jervis. She takes good notes. I'm not gonna change it. If what she wrote is what has to happen, then that's what I'm expecting to see. I'm not gonna come up with any unique ideas on what to do that's outside of the box that she has drawn, which she has drawn over 10 years with the clerks. I'm not gonna just waltz in here and start changing things because I think it's the right thing. Unless it's something like shocked my conscience, like dismiss this ticket against the mayor. You know what, Lori, you're gonna do that. I'm not gonna be the fall guy on this.
Well, this mayor doesn't get.
Of course he doesn't.
Okay. Great, thank you very much.
Okay, oh, I'm also the treasurer of the OJA, what everyone was talking about earlier.
Okay.
I'm a CPA as well. I don't know if that is
Just
useful.
got to ask, does anybody have any follow-up at all? Council? No?
I have one. So you listed the three cities. Are you the pro temp judge?
Yes.
there Or
Yes,
the main judge?
yes, I'm not the presiding judge anywhere yet.
Okay,
I hope to be. I just got here a few years ago, so you don't just go into a place, buy a house, get married, and say, put a robe on me. This is gonna take some time, but I hope to prove myself in these pro tem jobs where somebody will give me a chance and want me as their person, as their presiding judge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay. So that concludes the interviews, and so we're going to adjourn our work session.